Earlier this month, we had a chance to bring you an interview up on Signal Mountain at Alexian Village. We went up there to visit once again with Kevin Rayborn and the wonderful staff. Part of our conversation covered the memory care unit that they have on campus. Well, this morning, that conversation continues a bit further into detail with something you were invited to learn even more about memory care. Kevin is back on the show with us this morning. With him, Dr. Alycia Cleinman, who is a geriatrician with CHI Memorial. So good to see you both.
Hello.
I've had quite a nice conversation with you before the camera lights even went on, because you don't find, Dr. Cleinman, many geriatricians. It's not a very popular practice, common practice.
Yeah, no, certainly it's not. It's something that you have to truly love to get into.
So what we'll talk about is really several things. One, at Alexian, they have a lunch and learn coming up this month. Dr. Cleinman has the first of a series of events educating people, I guess, right, on dementia, essentially, that's coming up in March. Is that right?
Absolutely. We are doing a 2-year quarterly dementia lecture series. It's called Matters of the Mind. It's designed for caregivers of patients who have mild cognitive impairment or various types of dementias. It is going to be run out of Alexian for the surrounding community. And, I mean, it could go all the way down to North Georgia if anybody's interested.
I'm glad that you mentioned that about the surrounding community, because Kevin, one thing that you wanted so much to focus on when we were up at Alexian earlier this month was that your services aren't just for people who currently live at Alexian. You can have a life event that brings you temporarily to Alexian.
Well,
right?
That's right. I mean, we offer the full continuum, and that's what makes us unique in this market here. It's a wonderful thing too, because we 70% of our campus is dedicated to independent, healthy living. The wonderful thing are all the amenities and the services, and that's one thing I love about CHI Memorial and Dr. Cleinman is that we have one of her clinics right on campus that can serve our residents. And it's even better that she's going to be offering these continuing education programs coming up over the next 2 years, right, Dr. Cleinman?
Correct, yeah.
And we're really excited about that partnership, and just really looking forward to the next few years with this.
So even though you have the clinic there at Alexian, which makes logical sense that the residents there can come and use you, you're available to other people who happen to live on Signal. If they're in Red Bank, they're welcome to come and visit you there at the office.
That's correct. I offer a consultant service, and I actually am in 3 different locations over the city and have patients who drive up to 2 hours away to come for a consult.
Let's talk a little bit about the practice as a geriatrician. Full disclosure here, my mom, 89, now sees a geriatrician in Atlanta. But it was really, we got to that point because her primary care doctor, who she's had for a long time, just began to say, I'm not sure. And so it was logical that she find somebody who, as you say, your body just changes, I guess, as you get older. And you need a different expertise.
Yeah, there are a lot of physiologic changes that naturally occur as you get older. And so as a result, a lot of disease processes and medications are different. It's a very gray area. And so sometimes it requires extra training in geriatrics to be able to maneuver through that time period in your life.
I mean this in all love, but I think it would also require maybe a little bit of a different disposition, right? You have to be a very good listener, don't you?
Yeah. I think the majority of the time that I spend with people, I'm just listening, honestly. That's what they really want, is somebody just to hear what's going on with them.
So I thought geriatrics was really for an older segment of the population. You say if you're 55, you can find your way into the care of a geriatrician.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of early onset dementias that can start as early as 50 years old. Yeah. So even though somebody might be 50, they might actually be physically or cognitively on the level of a 75-year-old. So age is just a number. It's really about what's going on with you physically and mentally.
And I guess, Kevin, vocabulary becomes very important. I know you don't wear a medical hat, but you hear it a lot at work. So often people will say, yes, such and so has Alzheimer's. That isn't necessarily the actual diagnosis. There is just a memory loss. That's
correct. And Alzheimer's is just a form of cognitive impairment and dementia. And I've got my own stories with my own family members. My mother lives at Alexian Village right now, and one of the reasons that she decided to make that move is because we do have all these levels of care. I have a lot of dementia that runs in my own family, but you know, thank goodness my mother has not had that type of diagnosis at all yet, so it's a very, very good thing. But if you can imagine the positives about living on a campus or being in a situation, you know, people talk about, well, I'm going to Signal Mountain, I'm thinking about moving to Signal Mountain, who's my doctor going to be?
Right.
You've got this almost fantasyland situation to where you could actually make a gerontologist like Dr. Cleinman your primary care physician at the location. You would never have to leave Signal Mountain to see your primary care doctor. There are not a lot of situations anywhere like that. And you have a wonderful physician's assistant that people can also see in that office there. So it's a really wonderful situation from top to bottom.
Let me ask you this, because you know, in order of the calendar year, February 20th is the date you want to mark first, because y'all are doing a lunch and learn, and you're serving cherry pie.
Oh yeah, National Cherry Pie Day, February 20th. Come see us.
And we'll give you that information. But with these events that you're having, they're evening events so that folks can go to work and then come on up the mountain. Are you going to talk a little bit about prevention too?
Yeah, so that is actually the final lecture in the series, is talking about what's going on in research to prevent any development of dementia. I mean, there's a lot that's going on developing medication-wise, but there's a lot that you can physically do that's in your control.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you the one number for Alexian, and then for whichever reason you're calling, both the luncheon and the evening event with Dr. Cleinman, they'd love to go ahead and get some registrations in. They need a head count. They can know how much pie to serve and that kind of thing. So if you call 886-0100, that's the phone number up to Alexian. They'll put you in touch with the right people so you can have a seat at the table. Thank you both so much.
Thank you for having us.